after another weekend in the Championship. In today's video, we have a lot of action to go ahead and discuss. We've got a lot of controversial decisions which went on this weekend in the Championship, all of which will be discussed in today's video. So as always, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of your team's performance this weekend? And in general, what have you made of the Championship so far? Before we do go into this weekend's Championship roundup, though, it does have to be said that this weekend in general has been very tough for the footballing world with everything that has happened, obviously. We had the news with Glenn Hoddle and him falling ill. A Brighton fan unfortunately passed away at their game this weekend, and then the news coming from Leicester City where 5 people were killed in a helicopter crash. And it goes without saying really that my best wishes do go out to all the people who are connected to this weekend's tragic events, and like I say, I wish them all the best. In terms of the Championship football this weekend, though, it was a pretty tough one to predict, and I will include your guys' comments on screen now if any of you guys did manage to get any of your score predictions correct. I think myself this weekend I actually had a decent one for some score predictions. I managed to get 3 of my score predictions correct this weekend. I managed to get the Bolton game, the Preston game, and the Leeds game as well, so that's not too bad going from me. But without further ado, guys, let's hop into talking about some of the games. And so starting it out with the Friday night game going on between QPR and Aston Villa. This result for QPR now leaves them just 2 points off the playoffs, which is absolutely crazy. They are one of the most informed sides in the Championship at the moment, but for this game they had to ride their luck at times for this one. I thought that Aston Villa actually made a good account of themselves in this game. You can tell that Aston Villa are in still the very early days of Dean Smith being there, you know. You can see that the style of football is slowly changing. Villa had a lot more possession in this one. They were looking to build up from the back, and it is a contrast to how they were playing under Steve Bruce. They weren't as clinical as they should have been probably. They created 18 chances in this game, but you got to give credit to QPR. I thought they defended excellently for this one. It was a long ball coming in from the halfway line, and a nice finish just crashing in off the crossbar was the only goal of the game for QPR in the end. 2 players for QPR who I thought were absolutely excellent was Luongo in midfield and Jeff Cameron. Cameron especially, I think he's been a bit of an unsung hero so far this season for QPR. He was breaking up play absolutely excellently, and with the amount of possession that Aston Villa had in this game, QPR had to keep their focus. I thought that they did that for this game. Off the ball, they were absolutely excellent, and QPR now only 2 points off the playoffs. What a run it has been for them. Then into the Saturday games, we saw Middlesbrough go up against Derby County, this one finishing as a 1-1 draw in the end, and on reflection of the whole game, I thought the Derby got very unlucky not to claim all 3 points from this game. The first half especially, I thought the Derby were absolutely excellent. They were flooding players forward, and Middlesbrough couldn't really live with that for the most part of it. Derby managed to take the lead after 19 minutes. In the end, it was a George Friend own goal. The ball coming in from the left-hand side from Scott Malone. Martin Wycombe putting Friend under a bit of pressure, and in the end, it was George Friend who got the final touch in it, and Derby went 1-0 in front. After that, they were having countless other opportunities. Harry Wilson was looking very dangerous, cutting inside, just hitting the post. Mason Mount had an opportunity. Tom Lawrence was causing all sorts of problems, cutting inside. And I've got to say that Dan Randolph had an absolutely superb game for Middlesbrough in this game. If it wasn't for Dan Randolph, Derby could have been 3 or 4-0 up within 45 minutes. They were that good in the first half. Derby are absolutely fantastic side to watch, but Darren Randolph was managing to keep them at bay. He made one terrific double save in that first half. The longer the game did stay at 1-0, though, you could sort of sense that Middlesbrough were creeping into it, into the later stages of it, and in the end it was actually an own goal from Bogle in the 84th minute. A really disappointing one in the end, the ball coming into the box, sort of a shanked clearance in the end, managed to go past Scott Carlson, and Middlesbrough, without having a shot on target in this game, managed to salvage a 1-1 draw. So on reflection, I think it's a good point for Middlesbrough. Derby, very good performance from them, just maybe you need to be a little bit more clinical. The next game then saw Birmingham going up against Sheff Wednesday, and it was actually Sheff Wednesday who started this game really brightly. They managed to take the lead after 19 minutes through Stephen Fletcher, and after that Sheff Wednesday were piling players forward. Birmingham in the first half, probably the worst they've been all season really. I thought that they were quite passive in possession, and Sheff Wednesday were really coming at them. Hector had some fantastic chances, and if they managed to make it 2-0, you know, going into half-time, they managed to get that second goal, it might have been a different game. Sort of against the run of play though, Birmingham did manage to equalise just before half-time. A fantastic solo effort from Conor Mahoney, managed to send it in at 1-1 at the break. Then going into the second half, I thought we saw a much better Birmingham side, and as soon as Birmingham started putting the pressure on that Sheff Wednesday back line, we could always sense it was going to go one way really. With Sheff Wednesday having to sit much deeper, and with how poor their back line has been so far this season, the game at that point was really only going to go one way. We were seeing Birmingham putting balls into the box, and in the end it was Djukovic managing to step up, making it 2-1 to Birmingham. I think that is now his 7th goal in his last 4 home games for Birmingham. He's on some absolutely fantastic form at the moment. And then just 4 minutes later, it was Che Adams who managed to wrap things up and made it 3-1 to Birmingham. Once again, I thought that there were some goals in there that were quite avoidable from a Sheff Wednesday point of view, but in terms of Birmingham, they're on an absolute roll in the Championship at the moment. And a massive game at the bottom of the Championship. We saw Hull claim all 3 points with a 1-0 away victory at Bolton Wanderers, with Fraser Campbell claiming the only goal of the game in this one after just 7 minutes. I think it was Grosicki with the assist, a nice dummy in the box, and then Fraser Campbell managed to lose his man and fire it low into the back of the net. After that, Bolton actually created quite a few chances in this game. They were just quite wasteful with some of them, really. Going into this game, Phil Parkinson has been coming under increasing pressure from the Bolton fans. You can see why. They've had a lot of stale performances recently. You know, they tend to be quite defensive. For this game, though, he made a lot of changes. He looked to go a lot more top-heavy. I thought that Oztumer was probably Bolton's best player. He was at least looking to show for himself, looking to create some chances. He put Clayton Donaldson through on goal a couple of times and was decent delivering set pieces. But in the end, Bolton couldn't find anything into the back of the net, and Hull did walk away with all 3 points. And the pressure is continuing to pile on Phil Parkinson at the moment, because Bolton at the moment really aren't in a good run of form. Then we saw Stoke claim all 3 points away at Bristol City with a 1-0 away victory, and this could be a really big 3 points for Stoke actually. So far this season they have been very inconsistent, and a lot of questions have been asked of the Stoke City backline, but in this game they really had to go ahead and grind it out with how good Bristol City were looking in the second half and with some of the chances they were creating. It was Stoke though who got the better of the first half. I didn't think that Bristol City were playing with their usual intensity really going forward. They weren't really offering a lot, and in the end it was Stephen Fletcher who managed to give Stoke the lead after 33 minutes. Stoke had a couple of other opportunities in that half as well. Vinikofobe causing a couple of problems and Tommins having an effort just going wide. In the second half though, Bristol City stepped up the intensity, and how they didn't get a goal back in that second half is absolutely beyond me. Jeju had some terrific chances. I think they hit the crossbar twice in this game. Stoke had the ball cleared off the line, and Jack Butland also popped up with some absolutely huge saves for Stoke City. And you know, considering how inconsistent that backline has been so far this season, this was a terrific game from each of the players in that defensive unit. I thought with Stoke it was quite a similar performance from them that we saw with them when they were away at Norwich City. It was a game where they got the lead, and then after that they just had to sit back and grind it out. And fair play to them, picking up all 3 points in this one. Maybe Stoke are heading in the right direction now. However, a team who certainly isn't heading in the right direction at the moment is Ipswich Town. Once again, they were on the end of another defeat, losing 3-0 away at Millwall. The result still leaves Ipswich sat bottom of the Championship, only on 9 points, and already they are 5 points away from safety. Recently, we have seen Paul Lambert being confirmed as their new manager. Ipswich fans, let me know down below whether you think that is going to be the right change or not. But I think that what was shown in here is this Ipswich side is seriously lacking confidence. Balls coming into the box are a serious problem for them. They cannot defend crosses at all. All of the goals from Millwall really originated from them putting the ball into the box. The first one coming from a corner, the second goal coming from a long throw, and then the third one when Bilkowski tried to punch the ball away, and it was actually a nice looping finish in the end to make it 3-0 to Millwall. Coincidentally, Ipswich had quite a lot of the ball in this one actually. They were just so passive with it. They weren't penetrating at all, and they actually ended this game with 0 shots on target yet again. That's been the case for quite a lot of Ipswich games so far this season, and the lack of quality in this team is evident for everyone to see there, and it's going to be a real struggle for them this season. A fantastic 3 points for Millwall though, who are looking much more convincing in recent weeks. Our next result then saw Norwich continue their impressive start to the season, and they are now only 2 points off the top of the Championship. What a run it has been for them recently. Emi Buendia getting the only goal of the game for this one. The goal sort of coming against the run of play. I thought that Brentford started the game quite positively actually. They had quite a few opportunities on the counter-attack, just their final product today was quite shoddy actually. Emi Buendia though, what a goal it was in the end. The goal coming from absolutely nothing, just a long raking ball coming up the middle of the pitch. The ball drops over Buendia's shoulder and he just pokes it in past Daniel Bentley to make it 1-0. Norwich had a fantastic chance to make it 2-0 just before half-time with them getting a penalty, but Jordan Rhodes unfortunately wasn't able to convert a good save from Daniel Bentley. I think that's the second one he's missed now so far this season for Norwich. Into the second half, Brentford had a couple of other opportunities to level it up. They had one glorious opportunity which fell to their top scorer Neil Maupay. Tim Krul just made a fantastic double save. The ball then fell to Maupay on an absolute plate for him to finish it, but he went and struck the bar, and in the end it was Norwich who were able to hold on for all 3 points. And this run of form for Brentford has now seen them drop all the way down to 16th in the Championship. They're without a win in their last 9 games, which is absolutely crazy considering how good they were at the start of the season. Speaking about Norwich though, what a team they're looking like at the moment. I think that a lot of people were anticipating they may struggle this season after the loss of James Maddison. Not a lot of people were convinced about Daniel Farke, but this was a real team performance from them today, and they're looking very good at the moment. Then we saw my team Preston draw 1-1 with Rotherham United. Definitely not the best game going on this weekend, although I thought that in the first sort of 20 minutes or so, Preston were actually playing some really good football in this one. We were pulling Rotherham all over the park. Callum Robinson I thought was looking excellent for the first 20-25 minutes. He was beating his man every time, delivering some brilliant balls into the box. We just couldn't really get onto the end of anything. After that though, the game became really scrappy and there wasn't really much football on display from either side in this one really. Definitely not our finest performance of the season so far. Rotherham made it very hard for us. They sat in quite deep for a lot of the game and we couldn't really break them down at all. It was Preston who took the lead though, thanks to Tom Barkhuizen, the goal coming from a corner just before half time. However, it was Rotherham who managed to equalise just into the second half after 55 minutes. Once again, some really passive defending from Preston North End. The ball coming down the left hand side. Preston probably had about 3 opportunities to clear the ball before Rotherham got the ball into the back of the net, but in the end it was a very composed finish from Smith into the roof of the net to make it 1-1. And on reflection of the whole game, I thought a point was probably fair. Both sides did have a couple couple of other opportunities after that. I thought that Smith was causing some problems with balls going into the box. Vassell on the counter-attack I thought was looking good as well. Our midfield was very passive for this game. I thought that both Ben Pearson and Alan Brown went missing for this game, really. And overall, it was just a frustrating performance. 1-1 was probably the right result in the end. At the top of the Championship currently, it is very tight, but the side sat top is Sheff United, and they managed to walk away with all 3 points against Wigan Athletic as they saw them off by 4-2. A really end-to-end game in this one, really. We've spoke about it quite a lot this season, but Wigan's away record once again taking a bit of a battering for this one. So far this season, there have been a couple of occasions where Wigan have set up quite defensively. They've looked to, you know, just play for the point, really. In this game, I thought that they looked alright going forward, really, and maybe the scoreline was a little bit harsh on them. Despite Sheff United scoring 4 goals in this game, I didn't necessarily think it was the best performance we've seen from them so far. But one player we have to touch on for Sheff United is, of course, Billy Shopp. In this game, he managed to go ahead and bag a hat-trick. So far this season, he's already been able to score 10 goals, the second top scorer in the Championship, just behind Neil Maupay at the moment. His poacher's ability and clinical instincts inside the box are really second to none, and going into this season in the Championship, I was backing Sheff United to be a bit of a dark horse, really, but I wasn't sure if they'd be flirting with the top 2, mostly on the basis of I didn't know if they had a prolific goal scorer. I thought that Billy Shopp may be getting to that stage of his career where he'd chip in with a goal now and again, but he wouldn't really be this prolific. But he's proved me wrong so far. He's been excellent for them, really has been their talisman going forward. And despite Wigan Athletic scoring 2 goals, Dean Henderson had to be kept on his toes for a couple of other chances as well. He made some top saves in this one, and from back to front, Sheff United are without doubt one of the best teams in the Championship. The way they work for each other off the ball, the system they play, and some of the goals they've scored so far this season, Sheff United are really a side to watch out for. Next up, we then had Swansea beating Reading by 2-0. Ollie McBurney popping up with 2 goals for Swansea in this game, which now leaves them just 2 points off the playoffs, whereas Reading still sat in the bottom 3, and the pressure continues to pile on Paul Clement. Reading fans, let me know down below, how much longer do you realistically think he's got left in the job? Once again, it was quite a passive performance from Reading. Swansea dominated for the majority of it, really, and they could have easily had more than the 2 goals they eventually got in the end. Ollie McBurney, though, I am glad he bagged 2 goals in this game. He is a player who I really like the look of. Sometimes he can be quite hot or cold, you know, sometimes we see quite a few chances fall to him in the game, but nothing really is going his way. But in this game, managing to bag both goals, the first one being a penalty, and then the second one coming in the 84th minute to wrap things up for Swansea. Reading, while they were 1-0 down, they had a couple of chances to get back into the game. Yeku Matey had a couple of efforts just go wide. Some of their team moves are absolutely fantastic to watch. Each player's aware of each other, the movement they make is fantastic, and the transition in play from defence to attack from Swansea really is brilliant to watch. It is just sometimes their final product can be a little bit shoddy, but if they do manage to get some consistency in the Championship, Swansea are a real shot for the top 6 this season. Then next up we have West Brom drawing 1-1 with Blackburn Rovers. Recently in the Championship, we've seen West Brom put in some pretty shoddy performances. In this game, I thought they got probably quite unlucky not to go ahead and pick up all 3 points in it, really. They had some fantastic chances to take the lead early on. Gio Rodriguez having a brilliant one, the initial shot saved by the keeper, and somehow he blazed his second effort just over the bar. But after 40 minutes, West Brom did manage to take the lead. The ball coming in from a corner from Matty Phillips and Dawson, managing to head them 1-0 in front. Going into the second half after that, though, Blackburn did step up their intensity in terms of their attacking threat in this game. Casey Palmer had some good chances. Bradley Dack had a couple from just outside the box. And really, West Brom could have probably avoided the equaliser, which eventually came. It was a fantastic strike from Harrison Reid in the end, but it sort of came from a botched clearance from West Brom. The ball falling to Harrison Reid from just outside the box. He managed to pick out the top corner and just bend it beautifully past Sam Johnson to make it 1-1. After that, Blackburn really had to sit back in and defend this draw. West Brom had quite a few opportunities in the later stages of this game, but Blackburn defended fantastically. They cleared the ball off the line a couple of times, and nothing was falling for West Brom in the end. So finishing as a 1-1 draw, a good away result for Blackburn now. And then to our last game to talk about this weekend. Boy, did we have some controversy in this one. In the end, finishing as a 1-1 draw between Leeds United and Nottingham Forest. Leeds and Forest fans, let me know down below what you guys made of this game. It was Nottingham Forest who took the lead in this game. Jack Robinson scoring from a corner kick after just 11 minutes. And after that, Nottingham Forest didn't really see a lot of the ball in this game. They didn't have a lot going forward after that either, but they had to defend with their lives for this game. For a lot of last season, it could be argued that Forest were probably one of the worst defensive teams, but to see this performance for them, I thought they were absolutely excellent off the ball. They were trying to break up the play. They weren't letting Leeds get into their flow of play. Whenever he was called upon, Costel Pontillamon was popping up with some massive saves for Nottingham Forest, and I thought they were defending excellently up until the 82nd minute, which is when Leeds United equalised. I'm sure all you guys are aware of this. Oh my god, where do we begin with this one? It was Click who fired the ball across the goal line, and Kamar Roof in at the back post managed to bundle the ball into the back of the net with his arm. And you could see the reaction from the Nottingham Forest players. They were absolutely furious that no one was able to see this. It was one of the most blatant handballs we've seen all season, and somehow neither the referee or the official was able to see it, and in the end the goal was given. I don't think any Leeds fan can have any complaint. It was clearly handball and the goal shouldn't have stood. So Forest there was an injustice in this game. Over the flow of the whole game, you would say that Leeds at least deserved deserved the point from it. You know, they probably deserved to win the game with the amount of chances they created for this one, but the fact of how the goal was scored in the end, if I was a Forest fan, I'd be absolutely devastated. And like I said, despite Nottingham Forest only having 29% possession in this game, the way they defended in this game was absolutely superb, and to concede a goal like that so late on in the match will be absolutely gut-wrenching for them. For Forest now, though, they are sat just outside the playoffs in 7th at the moment, whereas Leeds are sat 2nd in the Championship, just 2 points behind league leaders Sheff Utd. But guys, they were all the games that did take place this weekend in the Championship. So as always, let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of your team's performance this weekend? And just before we do wrap up, in terms of my goal of the weekend, this time I'm going to go for Harrison Reed of Blackburn Rovers for the equaliser he scored against West Brom. I thought it was a fantastic curling effort from just outside the box, managing to beat Sam Johnson. It was a fantastic effort from Harrison Reed. And then as for my result of the weekend, definitely quite a few contenders for this one, but myself, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Sheffield United for picking up a 4-2 home victory over Wigan Athletic. This result now sees them go back to the top of the Championship, and I think that it shows people really need to take them seriously this season. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you did go in to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.